Hello there fellow NPCs, I am Scythe and today we're getting back into Everlasting Summer. I did name the last episode Beginning of the End, and that is because we have encountered a new pioneer, and when you meet that person, you know you're pretty damn close to the end. At least for the first run, because we're gonna do all the runs in this game, we're gonna 100% it, you know? We're gonna get it all, catch them all the girls, all the endings. It's gonna make sense. I promise. You gotta trust the process. But yeah, so that is where we're at. We have met a new pioneer that is gonna... that is not good news. And yeah. I guess we just have to start day 6 and see where it takes us. Let's go. Anyways, I really don't expect any other options to arise, especially in this heat. A heavenly coolness in the cabin became my salvation. I took my clothes off and jumped into bed. Crickets were lazily chirping outside. The wind was shaking the curtains on the window, and I sank into a dream. Okay, someone's knocking on the door. Knocking on the door woke me up. The knocks were soft but insistent. I reluctantly got up and went to open it. Strangely, there was nobody on the doorstep. Oh, really now? I rubbed my eyes and stepped out to look around. All the same, no one around. A dream, maybe. It was already 4 o'clock. I felt jaded. I probably shouldn't have slept in the afternoon. After all, I knew what was going to happen. I put on my boots, left the cabin and locked the door. But where shall I go? All in all, there is not much time till dinner. A sudden thought came to me that it would be nice to refresh myself. So I went towards the beach. Okay. The sun has passed the midday mark a while ago. It gets dark early here in the south. No, it usually gets dark early in the north. I would know. Sweden. You know? I squinted and looked up at the flaming disc. Was that just now? I flinched. The same mysterious guy was standing in front of me. And once again, his face was hard to see due to the bright light. For a moment, the sun blinded me so I could not see anything besides the faint contours of objects. Are you stalking me? Nope, I was just passing by, he answered calmly. Then you should know better. So you haven't seen anyone? Correct? Let me sleep, damn it. I rubbed my eyes, but it did not help. Why didn't I see you at lunch? I asked bluntly. I wasn't hungry, he laughed. I blinked a few times and my vision came back, but the pioneer had miraculously disappeared once again. What the hell is going on here? Now I was absolutely sure that there was something strange about that guy. He must be directly related to everything happening around here. I will have to find out. But for starters, it's good to confirm that I am not mistaken, and that he is not just a local pioneer. It was quite crowded at the beach. I was a bit worried there that all the sound just died out, but nothing apparently, nothing weird. It was quite crowded at the beach. It looked like everyone from the camp was here. Well, no wonder, it's so hot outside. Olga Dmitrievna was standing just a bit further apart from everyone, keeping an eye on her army of pioneers. As soon as I thought that coming here might not have been the best idea, she noticed me. Hey, Semyon. You weren't at the lineup, and in general, you're just lounging around all day. I did not know how to answer. And just how are you planning on becoming a proper pioneer? She continued more softly. Olga Dmitrievna, in the camp, is there a pioneer who looks a lot like me? She looked surprised. Maybe. I don't know. Why do you ask? Oh, I'm just curious. Well, we have a lot of boys here. Alright, never mind. Someone's yell came from the riverside, and Olga Dmitrievna rushed in its direction. But it looks like I will be spared a lecture. I lowered myself onto the sand and stared at the pioneers playing in the water. After a few minutes of sitting here, Uliana approached me. Why so sad? I'm not sad. Well, why are you here sitting all alone? Just thinking. About what? I decided to spare her my story about the mysterious pioneer. Well, imagine that you are chatting with a weird person, and you have to figure out what exactly is so weird about them. Simple. I would just ask them. She laughed. Too simple. But he won't answer. How do you know? Have you tried asking? No, but it's obvious. Uliana did not answer, just sat down next to me and let out a tired sigh. I'm all swimmed out. And what if they know something but won't tell you? Make them! But how? For a bit longer we sat together talking about random things, and then I got up, said goodbye and went away. It's time to find the mysterious stranger and get all the answers. The first place to visit was the bus stop. After all, this is where it all began. The road was empty, as always. Only small dust tornadoes were occasionally visible on it. I was ready to turn around and go back to the camp, but then I heard someone whisper. Don't trust him! Oh. I did not expect it to be already. Is it only 6 days? I was sure it was 7 days. It should be 7 days. Someone was hiding behind the monument. A pioneer was sitting there with his back to me. And once again, the voice seemed strangely familiar. Who are you? I took a few steps towards him. Stop! Don't come any closer! For some reason, I froze in my tracks. From somewhere deep inside, an assurance came to me, and I understood that I shouldn't argue with him. Alright, I'll stay here. Have you seen him? Talked to him? He asked nervously. Who are you even talking about? He was dressed in a pioneer uniform. You know who. And I definitely did know. He was talking about the weird pioneer I saw earlier. Yes, I answered after a few moments of silence. What did he tell you? The pioneer asked in a pleading tone. Nothing, really. Did he give you advice? Did he tell you what to do? Threaten you? No, nothing like that. Of course, it seemed pretty weird, but nothing more than that. Remember, he may not be alone, or more likely, he is alone, but you may meet many pioneers who look like him. And what about you? Who are you? Who are you hiding from? You will understand. In time. Just remember, the most important thing is to find the exit. Ooh. All of a sudden, a strong gust of wind came through, ripping leaves from the trees and throwing an old paper bag into my face. Shielding myself, I averted my eyes. When I looked back at the monument, the pioneer was already gone. At that moment, I was overwhelmed by fear. Real, almost tangible fear. I remember being scared during my first hours at this camp. But back then everything around me seemed kind and friendly. Now Semyon revealed its fangs, getting ready to eat me. And ahead, the unknown. My body was covered in goosebumps, my throat was dry and my hands were shaking. I tried to ignore it all and headed back to camp. It was already dinner, but I had no desire to go to the canteen. After meeting the second mysterious pioneer, just thinking about the locals made me, if not afraid, at least creeped out. I don't even know who or what they all are. And even though nothing had happened yet, it does not mean I can trust them. I stopped in front of the clubhouse, but then realized that this is not the best spot to be at. I could run into someone, which was not something I wanted to do at the moment. I was running. I hurried towards the forest and walked a few meters along the path before finally stopping. On one side, the mysterious pioneer Well, 2 of them to be precise. On the other, all the other inhabitants of this camp, who seemed absolutely normal. Either way, my decision to stand back and let everything resolve itself was under some serious pressure. At this point it was clear to me. I had to do something on my own. But what exactly? Everyone is probably having dinner, so I have a good chance to make it to the Olga Dmitrievna's place without being noticed. I decided to first take my clothes that I wore when I arrived here along with my cell phone. I won't be able to come up with a solid plan right off the bat, so for the time being, I might as well hide in the forest. I leaped up to the steps and entered the building. My clothes were right where I left them and my phone was where it was supposed to be, under my pillow. I quickly grabbed it and was ready to stuff it into my pocket, but then I noticed something on the screen. The message window was open. Okay. The text read, "You are wrong, Semyon. You are so wrong." What the fuck does that mean? I don't remember! What does that mean? It felt like my soul had left my body. I froze on the spot. I was shaking and my blood was pumping so hard. It felt like my skull was going to burst open from the pressure. It took at least a full minute for me to come back to senses. Olga Dmitrievna could have typed in the message. Or one of the pioneers. It's easy to figure out how to do it, even if they are not familiar with Scythe's technology. But no one besides me should know where I keep the phone. But if it's under the pillow, it's not gonna be difficult to find, you know? Olga is gonna be mad at you for not taking care of yourself and most likely your bed. So she's gonna do the bed for you once in a while and she's gonna find the phone. It's not difficult, you know? This event was the straw that broke the camel's back. I rushed out of the house, determined never to come back here. Into the forest. Night fell on the campgrounds. I had been sitting in the woods for a few hours, trembling at every noise. The spot that I chose was far away from the path, so it would be hard to find me. I was keeping a few plans in my head for the time being. To try and run, to kill. To try and run, to kill every single person in the camp. However, on the other hand, one thought chased me and I realized that I shouldn't behave like this because of some strange pioneer, or even because of that message on the phone. All of this was reinforcing the thought that everything happening here was far from normal. However, there was no proof that anyone in the camp had anything to do with it. I could have stayed here until morning, lost in my own thoughts, but I heard footsteps coming from somewhere nearby. So, you decided to escape after all. I turned around but couldn't see the pioneer's face in the dark. We never get to see his face, do we? Nevertheless, I was pretty sure that it was him. I wasn't afraid then. More precisely, I was so physically exhausted that I was prepared for any possible course of events and somehow managed to reason appropriately and to maintain the conversation. I wouldn't call this an escape, I answered slowly, stretching my words. Huh, then what is it? A tactical retreat? Brilliant. He burst into laughter. Listen, why don't you tell me what's going on? Who are you and what do you want from me? What did that guy tell you at the gate? It seemed that he didn't even hear my question. He told me not to trust you. I lied. But on the other hand, I thought that is what it meant. Well, that's always the way for him, running away, hiding. I could hear irritation in his voice. I am not sure what kind of circus you are running here, but I'm not going to be part of it. Oh, why not? You're the star after all. I couldn't see his face, but I bet he was smiling. Explain my part to me then. You know, I was like you in the beginning. The first time everything went peacefully. Then I escaped. I tried to understand what was going on, got mad and even tortured them to get to the truth. Okay. He laughed crazily. I shivered. But it was pointless, continued the pioneer after calming down a bit. Pointless. And then I began to notice the lapses. At first I just heard their voices, from a distance and sometimes in my head. Then vague silhouettes appeared. Then they slowly took on physical form. And finally, they stepped into the world. I could touch them, introduce them to other pioneers. And they all were different. Different. Do you get it? Different. He started shouting. And it recurred again and again. You can get used to the loops, but... Then I learned how to get into their worlds by myself, to interact with the others. But it turned out that I'm not alone. There are lots of us. Today you saw at least one more. He fell silent, and I have goosebumps all over me. I didn't know what question to ask and didn't want to interrupt the story, so I simply waited. After a minute, he continued. It's not that simple, of course. And it's not always possible. Only under certain circumstances. When you feel strong emotions, for example. I instantly remembered how I saw him in the first time. The time when I didn't feel any emotions at all. Including the moments when you feel happy. As if he was reading my thoughts. I see. So you're trying to say that there are several parallel worlds including the same camp with its inhabitants where I'm replaced by you or that guy I met at the bus stop? Yeah, something like that. And his answer didn't surprise me at all. In the end, it's clear that whatever happens here is beyond the limits of human understanding. And this theory didn't even seem all that unusual. But you said that everything recurs. Yes, it recurs. And what will happen afterwards? You'll start from the very beginning. You'll wake in the bus, come to the camp, meet Olga Dmitrievna, the girls, Electronic. But if it happened to you, then why should it happen to me as well? It happens to everyone. Once again, he laughed hysterically. And how many loops have you experienced so far? I stopped counting them already. At first I tried to remember them though. Maybe a few hundred. No wonder. It was very clear to me that this guy was suffering from a progressing mental dysfunction. But you searched for a way out, didn't you? He didn't answer. That's what the guy at the bus stop was talking about. Because he understands nothing, damn it. Because he understands nothing, damn it. He shouted. Because he's just like you, constantly running away, hiding. What would you suggest then? If I had any suggestions, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. Alright, but you were trying, weren't you? Are you trying to understand what I know, since I've been around here for a long time? He asked cheerfully. Well, that's evident. Yes, I did try to run away from here. There. He waved towards the forest. It's nothing there. Nothing but trees. When I had been walking there for several days and finally passed out, I found myself in the bus again. Same for walking along the road. It's endless. Talking to somebody about that is pointless. You probably already understood that by yourself. I did. I interjected. And if you try to explain your situation directly, at best you'd just be considered an idiot. What if you try not to leave the bus? It's pointless. Sooner or later, you'll be found. I even tried to spend the entire time there. In the end, I fell asleep and everything started from the beginning. And what if you started by yourself and leave? No keys. And I don't have any carjacking skills. But after a few hundred loops, you could easily have learned it. A cursed cycle. Exactly. A long silence fell. Finally, I asked, and what about the people around here? Don't they raise absolutely reasonable suspicions? Suspicions? Laughter again. The only thing that is suspicious about them is that no matter how much you tell them, they stare at you with their eyes out on stalks. The people, I feared them at first too. Then I used them for different experiments. And now I don't consider them humans. They're all dolls, puppets. You can easily predict any reaction, any word or action. So they aren't worth fearing, are they? And one worth fearing is yourself, he said softly. Do you know how fun it is when human bones crack as they slowly break from distension? Oh, looks like he finally lost his marbles. Listen, I understand everything, but the other one thinks that's a bit much too. But it doesn't matter. Nobody but you is real here. The pioneer suddenly fell silent. Well, no, I don't agree with you. You're probably thinking why I didn't check this all by myself, aren't you? Why I didn't try to reach the nearest village or town. Yes, I did have such thoughts. Why wasn't I suspicious? Why was I doing a different stuff instead of searching for answers? Well, yes. Forget about it. That's normal. We all behave like this for the first time here. But how many others have you seen so far? Not that many. The pioneer was lost in thought. About 10 people maybe. But I'm sure there are many more of them. And is everyone like this? In fact, yes. Only the details are different, but the main thing is invariable. There's no way out of here. And by the way, you're just like the majority of them. The only thing that differs is that you have heard everything from me instead of experiencing it for yourself. I don't know if I should thank him for that. Well, and what now? Nothing, he said shortly. I closed my eyes and lost myself in thought. That was a critical mistake. When I opened my eyes, I didn't see anybody, just like the previous times. So it's clear what's going on now. But in fact, how could everything he said guide me to an answer? Yes, I'm not alone. Yes, everything recurs. But what's the reason for all of this? And what is more important? Where is the way out? The only useful thing that I extracted from the conversation was that the local inhabitants were not worth fearing. And that was quite significant for me to know. So it was much better to sleep in a warm cabin instead of the forest. I sighed, took my things and headed towards the camp. As I was walking, the conversation with my fellow sufferer popped up into my head every now and then. Why did I not ask him about the message on my phone? And some other stuff. They were hints after all. Maybe if I had found some details out, I could have drawn some conclusions. However, it didn't seem like our meeting would be the last one. Can say that again. The lights were on in Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. I opened the door gently and went in. Speak of the devil, here you are, the camp leader said angrily. Olga Dmitrievna, I'm so tired right now. So let's put off the lecture. Tired from what, I wonder? From everything, I snapped rudely. The camp leader looked at me with surprise. I fell into bed without undressing. Semyon, a role model pioneer, shouldn't behave like that. And how should he behave then? Well, not like that. The camp leader stumbled for a moment, as if struggling to pick up the right words. You should respect his seniors. I respect you immensely, for sure. Semyon? The sarcasm in my voice didn't go unnoticed. And now I'd like to sleep. Wait, by the way, how far is the nearest town? When does the bus arrive? How can I even get out of here? I asked in a surprisingly calm voice. There was no answer, and there shouldn't have been any. I said all this just in order to get rid of her. Why are you silent? I'm tired. Let's talk about that tomorrow. The camp leader got up and turned off the light. Yes, it's all just like that guy said. Why did I speak to him so calmly and properly, I wonder? I should have been shivering from horror. That pioneer didn't have much credibility, but I had a feeling that he is unable to harm me. As soon as I thought that it would be a good idea to ask something else, fatigue overtook me and I passed out. Day 7. Right? Yeah, here we go. Day 7. Last day of camp. The bright sunlight was striking my eyes even through my eyelids. Ow! I stretched out lazily and quickly got myself out of bed. It was 2 p.m. Looks like yesterday really finished me off and my body required much more time to recover than usual. I had a stroll around the room, thinking on what I should do today. Obviously, my life in the camp would never be the same again and after everything that I'd heard from the strange pioneer. And if everything is just as he said, I have plenty of time ahead. I grabbed my hygiene kit and went outside. I managed to take on only a couple of steps as somebody ran into my back. I turned around and saw Alyssa. "Hey, be careful," said she indifferently and ran on her way. She held some kind of bag in her hands. Whatever. Yet another ordinary day in this crazy place. I finished brushing my teeth and then spent an eternity washing my face with ice cold water to bring myself to my senses and refresh my head at least a bit. I felt a bit better after that. Suddenly, hope struck me from nowhere. It wasn't a hope that I'd be likely to leave this place safely. Rather, I just didn't want to believe that everything is as bad as that guy told me. Good morning. Did not expect you to show up already. Ooh. I heard a faint voice coming from the woods. Someone stood behind a tree. Morning. Are you ready? Ready for what? I looked again and it seemed like it was the pioneer from the bus stop yesterday. Oh, from the bus stop? Not the one in the forest. Indeed, I was prepared for such weirdness today, so I wasn't really surprised and started this conversation quite clear-headed. You didn't believe him, did you? What are you talking about? Everything that he said. Alright, but what is your opinion on what is happening? I'd already distanced myself from the outside world and decided to treat everything happening to me just like a fictional film, not reality. Hopefully, it would give me more room to move around in terms of situational logic analysis. There is an exit. There has to be, he said excitedly. I don't know, but I'd like to believe that too. If you just... Semyon! I turned around. Slavia was standing right next to me. Who were you talking to? No one. Just talking to myself. I hardly think it's worth telling her about aliens from parallel worlds. She probably can't even see them anyway. Have you prepared already? Prepared? For another hike? No. Today's the last day of the session. What? A stupid smile settled on my face. There will be a bus this evening. We're leaving. Holy cow! I was ready for even the most incredible twist, but... Was this what that mysterious pioneer was talking about? Probably it was. Well, apparently, I have to go for a second lap and live yet another week in this camp. And this time, I know everything. I haven't packed yet. It's not like I have much to pack anyway. Okay. Slavia shifted her gaze. Seemed like she wanted to say something, but hesitated. Well, see you then. Yeah. I had to ask when we're leaving at least. I went to the square with the intention of discovering that. It's gotta be someone I know there. But believe it or not, there was only Genda waiting for me at the square. Probably all the pioneers are busy with packing. I took a seat on a bench and just stared at the sky. Turns out that today I just had to wait for the departure, pass out on the bus and wake up in this camp again. Just like the first day. Everything was drowning in silence. It's exactly that time of a summer day when the sun seems stuck in the sky. The birds and crickets are gone for an after lunch deuce. Deuce? And the wind is saving its energy to deliver long-awaited coolness to people in the evening. It suddenly crossed my mind that I haven't just missed lunch, but I haven't had any breakfast either. It was ridiculous to search for anything in the canteen. The pioneers had surely cleaned up everything just before the departure. I scratched my head and made my way to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. Surely there should be something edible in the table's drawer. Someone called for me just as I approached the door. Shuriken Electronics swiftly approached the cabin. "Are you already packed up?" "Already packed up," I answered, imitating him. "You haven't quite been yourself the last few days." "What makes you say that?" "How should I know? You'd know better." "I mean, why are you so concerned?" "No reason." A real pioneer always treats a comrade's problem as his own. I cast a skeptical look at him. "Thanks for your concern. I'm fine." There actually was half of a loaf of stale bread and a piece of smoked sausage in the drawer. I ate everything with deliberate pleasure, washing it down with a smelly water that Olga Dmitrievna probably used to water to plants. Are we really going to meet everyone here before we departure in the evening? Just as I finished, someone knocked on the door. "Come in." Uliana rushed into the room. "Oh, it's just you," she said disappointedly. "And who did you expect to see? A circus complete with bears?" Uliana giggled. "Where's Olga Dmitrievna?" "Don't know." I shrugged. "Why not?" "I don't know because I don't know." "What do you want from her anyway?" "Got to ask something before the departure." "Okay, I'll tell her that you were searching for her if I see her." "By the way, why aren't you packing up?" "Like I have much to pack." "Well, see ya." She cracked a sly smile and bounded out of the cabin, slamming the door behind her. And still, it's really strange that nobody seemed to be puzzled by the sudden departure. And why am I the only one who was not expecting it? Like everyone really cares if I pack my things up. As well as that, doesn't anyone care that this is the last time we're seeing each other? The words of that guy in the forest yesterday about all the camp's tenants being unreal suddenly sprang into my mind. Well, right now I'm more ready to believe it than ever. The desk drawer where I found my breakfast contained a lot of odds and ends. I grabbed a pencil and a piece of paper, examined them for some time and then slipped them into my pocket. Just in case. I had no intention of watching over all the pioneers running around and packing, so I just lay on my bed and didn't even notice how I dazed off. It was somebody's voice that woke me up. "Don't stand over me, dude." A familiar pioneer was sitting directly opposite, with his back to me. "Of course, we still don't get to see your face, huh?" I've gotten used to him a bit since yesterday, and it's even seemed that I stopped fearing him. "Hey, why do you always hide your face?" "Because you shouldn't see it." "If you say so." I wasn't in a position to argue. "So, what are you going to reveal this time? You already know that it's the last day of session, don't you?" "Yep." "And you've already spoken with that one?" "Yep." "So, what did it tell you?" "Nothing special. It said that there's an exit out of here." The pioneer burst into laughter. "Yeah, I believed that 2 ages ago." "And now?" "And what is now?" "I am a past. My life back then." He stopped talking for some time. "Anyway, It was all a long while ago, so I don't really remember. The future is all the same. Loops, loops, loops. Repetition of the same story. Where is this now? I hate to say it, but I'm not yet as lost in time as you are. Oh, that's nothing. That'll come with time. He broke into a diabolical laughter. There's just one thing I don't understand. What's your reason for coming to me? What do you expect to achieve? Me? Nothing really. So why did you come then? It's just because you, him, and the others like us are the only real people around here. Given everything he'd said to me already, I just wasn't ready to believe that all the local tenants are just puppets in some kind of hellish stage play. Are you sure that you're right? Right about what? Well, that you're right about everything. I can't be right or wrong. I didn't choose this world. I didn't throw myself into it. I'm just here. And you're just here. Listen, I've already got a headache from your philosophizing. Dude, I got a headache from your philosophizing. God damn, this week has been unbearable with you. I was kind of puzzled myself as to why I was so calm talking to this mysterious pioneer. Well, here it is, right in front of me. All the fantasy and devilry that happened in this camp. Here it is, an explanation, at least a partial one, for how I got here. Here they are, the answers I've searched for such a long time. On the other hand, my behavior was quite logical. While I couldn't quite explain what was happening, the cuckoo guy just talked and talked, but it's not like his words changed anything. Then what's the point of listening to him? Oh no, you will soon understand everything yourself. Somebody was knocking at the door. But this is where we're going to cut off for today's episode, actually. I was really hoping that we could do the ending in this video, but it is simply too long. And so I believe I will be ending the Semyon run in the next video. But yeah, if all the girls are gonna come to my cabin and say goodbye to me, it's gonna take a long time. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you Joseph for donating directly to my Ko-fi page. If you guys want to help me out, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description. And I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye everyone.